The Deep Space Monitoring Station Helios picked up the signal at 3:47 UTC. At first, Dr. Sarah Chen thought it was another glitch in the array. They'd been having problems with the new quantum receivers all week, but this signal was different. It pulsed with an artificial regularity that made her breath catch in her throat. "Director Morrison," she called, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "You need to see this." The signal was just the beginning. Within hours, they appeared. Massive ships emerging from what looked like tears in space itself. The Crixian Empire had arrived, and Earth would never be the same. Commander Elena Santos stood at the window of the International Space Defense Command, watching as the alien vessels took position around Earth's orbit. Their ships were beautiful in a terrifying way, crystalline structures that seemed to capture and redirect starlight itself. Initial counts put their number at over 600,000 vessels. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from his station. The message is, "It's being translated now." The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a figure that barely resembled anything human. The Crixian ambassador's form seemed to shift between solid and crystalline, its voice resonating with harmonics that made the very air vibrate. "People of Earth," it began, "your world has been chosen. The Crixian Empire requires your resources, your population, and your complete submission. You have 72 hours to surrender control of your planet. Resistance is not advised." The message ended as abruptly as it began, leaving the command center in stunned silence. Commander Santos turned to face her staff, her expression grim but determined. "Get me the Security Council," she ordered, "and contact Project Eclipse. It's time." Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Dr. Marcus Jung was already preparing for humanity's response. The massive chamber housed humanity's best-kept secret, the EDS Sentinel. While the world above had focused on conventional space warfare, a select group of scientists had been working on something revolutionary. The Sentinel wasn't just a warship. It was humanity's quantum leap forward, incorporating technology that even the Crixians hadn't mastered. Its heart was the quantum fold drive, capable of manipulating the very fabric of space-time itself. "How soon can it be ready?" Commander Santos' hologram asked, her image flickering in the facility's secure briefing room. Dr. Zhang glanced at his tablet, scanning through final diagnostics. "The drive is stable. We've completed all theoretical trials. But, Commander, we've never tested it in actual combat conditions. The risks of not using it are greater," Santos interrupted. "The Crixians aren't here to negotiate. Their empire has consumed 12 other civilizations in the past century. We're not going to be the 13th. Zhang nodded slowly. "Then we'll need a crew. The Sentinel systems are too complex for conventional naval personnel. We need people who understand quantum mechanics at an intuitive level." "I've already selected them," Santos replied, sending across a list of names. "The best and brightest from every field. They've been training in simulation for months without knowing what for. It's time to tell them the truth." As the crew assembled over the next 24 hours, the Crixian fleet remained in position, a constant reminder of the sword hanging over humanity's head. Their ships had moved into a complex geometric formation that military analysts suspected would allow them to fire on every major population center simultaneously. Captain Maya Patel stood before her assembled crew in the Sentinel's briefing room. 40 of the finest minds humanity had to offer, each chosen not just for their expertise, but for their ability to think beyond conventional boundaries. "I won't lie to you," she began, her voice carrying across the silent room. "What we're about to attempt has never been done before. The Sentinel isn't just a ship. It's a concept that rewrites the rules of physics as we know them. The quantum fold drive doesn't just move through space. It manipulates probability itself." She activated the holographic display, showing the Crixian fleet's formation. "Their technology is advanced, but it's predictable. They rely on crystalline computing and conventional physics, We're going to show them something new. Dr. Zhang stepped forward, pulling up the Sentinel schematics. The quantum fold drive creates localized probability fields. In theory, we can use these to be in multiple places at once, or to make it impossible for their weapons to hit us. But every use of the drive affects the quantum fabric of space itself. We'll be writing new laws of physics with every engagement. The crew absorbed this information with the focus of people who understood exactly what was at stake. They had less than 48 hours to master technology that defied conventional understanding, to prepare for a battle against an enemy that had never known defeat. As they prepared, above them, the Crixian fleet waited, their crystalline ships casting prismatic shadows across Earth's surface. They were confident in their superior numbers, their advanced technology, their unbroken record of conquest. They had no idea that humanity was about to change the rules of the game entirely. The EDS Sentinel hung suspended in its underground berth, its obsidian hull drinking in the light from the facility's powerful floodlights. Unlike conventional warships, the Sentinel had been designed to work with quantum mechanics rather than against them. Its surface wasn't smooth, but rather composed of countless microscopic probability matrices, each capable of shifting the ship between quantum states. Captain Patel walked through the ship's corridors with Dr. Zhang, reviewing systems that until yesterday had existed only in theoretical models. The ship's neural interface hummed at the edge of her consciousness, a constant reminder of how far beyond normal technology they had ventured. The quantum fold drive isn't just an engine, Zhang explained, leading her into the ship's core. It's more like a reality editing system. Every time we activate it, we're essentially rewriting local physics to favor our desired outcome. The core itself was a sight that defied conventional understanding. A perfect sphere of what appeared to be liquid darkness hung suspended in a framework of crystalline matrices, each carefully aligned to channel and control the quantum anomalies the drive would generate. How do we control something like this? Patil asked, watching as ripples of possibility coursed through the sphere's surface. That's where the neural interface comes in, a new voice answered. Dr. Aisha Patel, the ship's quantum systems specialist and no relation to the captain, emerged from behind a bank of monitors. The drive responds to intention as much as direct command. We've had to rethink every aspect of ship operations. In the command center, Lieutenant James Chen, their quantum probability officer, was running the crew through simulations. Unlike traditional tactical exercises, these scenarios required them to think in terms of quantum superposition and probability manipulation. Don't think about where you want the ship to be, he instructed, his hands dancing over the holographic controls. Think about all the places it could be, and which possibility serves us best. The drive will do the rest. The Crixians had given them 72 hours. They had used 36. Time was running out, but more concerning were the readings coming from the alien fleet. Their crystalline ships had begun to pulse with increasing energy signatures, suggesting they might not wait for their own deadline. Commander Santos' hologram appeared in the Sentinel's briefing room. We're picking up energy spikes across their fleet. Intelligence suggests they're charging weapons. We might have less time than we thought. Captain Patel gathered her crew. They had trained for countless scenarios, but nothing could truly prepare them for what they were about to attempt. The Crixians think they understand warfare, she addressed them. They think they understand physics. We're about to show them how little they know about either. The crew took their stations, each connecting to the ship's neural interface. The sensation was unlike anything they had experienced in simulations, a sudden expansion of awareness as quantum probability became as real and tangible as gravity. Dr. Zhang monitored the core's stability from engineering. Quantum fold drive is showing green across all matrices. Probability field generators are nominal. We're as ready as we'll ever be. In the weapons bay, Lieutenant Sarah O'Connor and her team prepared systems that defied conventional classification. The Sentinel didn't carry traditional weapons. Instead, it carried probability manipulators that could turn the enemy's own energy against them or simply edit them out of local spacetime. All quantum weapon systems online, O'Connor reported. Probability matrices aligned and ready for tactical manipulation. The moment of truth approached as the facility's massive doors began to open. Above them, through miles of ocean and atmosphere, the Crixian fleet waited, unaware that humanity's response to their ultimatum was about to emerge. Neural interface synchronization complete, Dr. Aisha announced. All crew members are linked to the quantum probability field. We're reading coherent quantum states across all systems. Captain Patel took her place in the command chair, feeling the ship's systems integrate with her consciousness. Through the neural link, she could sense every crew member, every system, every quantum possibility that lay before them. Begin launch sequence, she ordered. Let's show these crystals what happens when you push humanity into a corner. The Sentinel rose from its berth, its hull shifting between states of matter as the quantum fold drive spooled up. Reality itself seemed to blur around the ship as it ascended through the ocean, the water parting around probability fields rather than physical matter. In orbit, the Crixian fleet's sensors detected something they couldn't explain. A vessel that seemed to exist in multiple states simultaneously, defying their understanding of physical law. Their crystalline computing systems struggled to process readings that contradicted everything they thought they knew about space warfare. All hands. Captain Patel's voice resonated through the neural interface, reaching every crew member on a quantum level. What we do here today will redefine the possible. The Crixians think they have us outnumbered. They're about to learn that when you're fighting in quantum probability space, numbers mean nothing. The Sentinel emerged from Earth's atmosphere, its quantum fold drive fully powered, ready to demonstrate that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in its weapons or numbers, but in its ability to change the rules of the game entirely. The Crixian fleet responded to the Sentinel's appearance with predictable aggression. Thousands of crystalline vessels moved to intercept, their weapons charging with enough energy to vaporize a small continent. Through the neural interface, Captain Patel could feel her crew's tension, their determination, and their readiness. Multiple targeting locks detected. Lieutenant Chen reported, his consciousness merged with the ship's quantum probability field. They're trying to box us in with a three-dimensional firing solution. Captain Patel allowed herself a small smile. Let them try. Dr. Aisha, initiate quantum state fluctuation. Lieutenant O'Connor, prepare probability torpedoes. The space around the Sentinel began to ripple as the quantum fold drive engaged. To the Crixian's sensors, the human vessel seemed to blur, existing in multiple states simultaneously. Their first volley of energy weapons passed through several possible positions of the Sentinel, but the ship wasn't in any of them. Quantum state shift successful, Dr. Aisha reported. We're operating in probability space now. Their targeting systems can't get a lock on our actual position. The Sentinel's response was unlike anything the Crixians had encountered in their centuries of conquest. Probability torpedoes, weapons that existed in multiple quantum states until they impacted, launched from the ship. Each torpedo split into countless quantum possibilities, overwhelming the Crixian shields which could only exist in one state at a time. The first hits were devastating. Crystalline ships shattered as probability itself turned against them, their matter forced into impossible configurations by weapons that rewrote local physics. Through the neural interface, the crew could feel the quantum shockwaves of each impact. Enemy fleet is responding, Chen called out. They're adapting their shield frequencies, trying to account for probability fluctuations. Dr. Zhang's voice came through the interface from engineering. Captain, the quantum fold drive is performing beyond expectations. We can push it further. Do it, Paddle ordered. Full quantum state manipulation. Show them what this ship can really do. The Sentinel's hull began to phase between realities as the drive reached full power. The ship existed in hundreds of potential states simultaneously, making it impossible for the Crixians to predict where it would appear next. Each movement was a carefully calculated rewrite of probability. Lieutenant O'Connor's weapons teams launched another salvo, this time targeting the quantum probability of the Crixian ship's existence itself. "Probability cascade initiated," she reported. "Their ships are being forced into quantum uncertainty states." The effect was spectacular. Entire sections of the Crixian fleet began to flicker between states of matter as their crystalline technology failed to cope with weapons that manipulated probability itself. Ships that had conquered dozens of worlds were being undone by humanity's understanding of quantum mechanics. But the Crixians hadn't built their empire by giving up easily. Their remaining ships began to adopt new formations, attempting to create a quantum resonance field that might stabilize their existence in normal space. "They're learning," Dr. Aisha observed. "Their crystalline computing systems are adapting to quantum probability shifts. We need to change tactics." Captain Patel accessed the quantum probability maps through her neural interface. The Sentinel had already destroyed thousands of enemy vessels, but hundreds of thousands remained. They needed something more. "Dr. John, what happens if we inverse the quantum fold field? Create a probability void instead of a probability cascade?" There was a pause as the engineer ran quantum simulations. "Theoretically, we could create a space where probability itself breaks down. Their ships would have no chance of maintaining quantum coherence, but the energy requirements—" "The core can handle it," Dr. Aisha interjected. "We'll need to synchronize the entire crew's neural patterns to maintain stability, but it's possible." Through the neural interface, Captain Patel addressed her crew. "What we're about to attempt goes beyond our simulations. We're going to create a quantum probability void, a space where the laws of physics themselves break down. The neural load will be intense, but this is what we trained for." The crew's response came not in words but in feeling, a surge of determination that resonated through the quantum field. They had been chosen for this mission not just for their skills, but for their ability to face the impossible. The Sentinel's quantum fold drive began to pulse with new energy as the ship prepared to unleash its most devastating capability. Around them, the fabric of space itself began to warp as probability fields collapsed. "Quantum void generating," Dr. John reported, his voice strained with the effort of maintaining the field. "Probability collapse in 3, 2, 1. Reality itself seemed to scream as the Sentinel created a space where probability ceased to exist. Crixian ships caught in the effect began to break down at the quantum level, their crystalline technology unable to maintain coherence in a space where the fundamental laws of physics no longer applied. Through the neural interface, the crew fought to maintain control as the quantum void expanded. They weren't just fighting the Crixians anymore. They were fighting reality itself, forcing it to bend to human will and determination. The void continued to grow, consuming more of the Crixian fleet with each passing moment. Their crystalline ships, for all their advanced technology, had no defense against a weapon that rewrote the very rules of existence. But victory would come at a cost. The strain of maintaining the quantum void was pushing both the ship and its crew to their limits. As more Crixian ships fell to the probability collapse, Captain Patel knew they were approaching a point of no return. The battle for Earth's future had begun, and humanity had just shown the galaxy that sometimes the best way to win wasn't to play by the rules, it was to rewrite them entirely. The quantum void had consumed nearly a quarter of the Crixian fleet, but maintaining it was taking its toll. Through the neural interface, Captain Patel could feel her crew's exhaustion as they fought to control forces that defied the laws of physics. Warning signals flashed across multiple systems as the quantum fold drive pushed beyond its design limits. "Core stability dropping," Dr. Zhang's strained voice reported. "The quantum field is becoming unpredictable. We can't maintain the void much longer." Dr. Aisha's hands flew across her console, trying to stabilize the fluctuating probability matrices. Neural load is approaching critical levels. Some crew members are showing signs of quantum entanglement psychosis. Captain Patel made a decision. Collapse the void. Prepare for emergency quantum shift. The void collapsed, reality rushing back into the space where probability had ceased to exist. The remaining Crixian ships, still hundreds of thousands strong, began to regroup. But something had changed. Their perfect crystalline formation showed signs of uncertainty, their movements less coordinated. "They're adapting," Lieutenant Chen observed. "But they're afraid. Their quantum signatures are chaotic. They've never encountered anything that could negate their existence like this." Through the neural interface, Captain Patel addressed her crew. "We've shown them we can fight. Now we need to show them we can win. Dr. Zhang, what's the status of the quantum fold drive?" "The core is stable, but changed. The void altered its quantum state. We're seeing new patterns forming in the probability matrix that weren't there before." Lieutenant O'Connor's voice cut through the interface. "Captain, I'm detecting unusual quantum resonance between our weapon systems and the drive core. It's like they're synchronizing somehow." Dr. Aisha's eyes widened as she analyzed the data. "The void didn't just affect the Crixians. It changed us too. Our quantum systems are evolving, adapting to handle more complex probability manipulations." The Crixian fleet launched a massive counterattack, their crystalline ships firing weapons designed to shatter reality itself. But the Sentinel, altered by its own quantum void, responded in ways its creators hadn't imagined possible. The ship phased between quantum states faster than ever, its hull rippling with probability cascades that turned enemy fire back upon itself. Each movement was more fluid, more precise, as if the ship had learned from its exposure to chaos. "Multiple quantum signatures detecting from the enemy flagship," Chen reported. "They're trying to create their own probability field." Captain Patel leaned forward in her command chair. "They're desperate. They've never failed to conquer a world before. Lieutenant O'Connor, target their probability field generators. Dr. Aisha, prepare for maximum neural synchronization." The Sentinel's weapons lashed out, not with destructive force but with precise quantum manipulation. The Crixian attempts to manipulate probability collapsed as humanity's understanding of quantum mechanics proved superior to their brute force approach. But victory was taking its price. Through the neural interface, Patel could feel crew members struggling with the quantum resonance, their minds stretched by exposure to too many probability states at once. The ship's systems were evolving faster than they could adapt to them. "Dr. Zhang," she called, "what happens if we inject quantum uncertainty directly into their crystalline computing network?" A pause as the engineer ran calculations. Their entire command and control structure would collapse. "But Captain, at this range, the feedback through our neural interface could be catastrophic." "Better than letting them regroup," Patel decided. "All hands, prepare for quantum network injection. Synchronize all remaining probability torpedoes with the drive core." The Sentinel's weapons reconfigured, aligning with the quantum signatures of the Crixian fleet's network. The ship's core pulsed with new energy as it prepared to turn the enemy's greatest strength into their ultimate weakness. "Neural synchronization at maximum," Dr. Aisha reported, her voice showing the strain. "Whatever we're going to do, we need to do it now." Captain Patel took a deep breath, feeling the ship's systems align with her intention. "Execute quantum injection. Target their entire network." The Sentinel released its attack, not as weapons but as pure quantum information. The probability torpedoes carried uncertainty itself into the heart of the Crixian fleet's crystalline network. Their perfect formations began to break down as quantum chaos spread through their communications. The feedback hit the crew like a physical force. Through the neural interface, they experienced every quantum possibility at once: success, failure, existence, non-existence. Several crew members collapsed, their minds overwhelmed by exposure to too many realities at once. But the attack worked. The Crixian fleet's coordinated defense shattered as their ships lost the ability to maintain quantum coherence. Their crystalline computing systems, unable to process quantum uncertainty, began to fail across the entire fleet. "Enemy fleet is losing containment," Chen reported through gritted teeth. "Their ships are falling into quantum discord." The space around Earth lit up with the death throes of an empire that had never learned to handle uncertainty. Crystalline ships shattered as their perfect structure encountered chaos they couldn't control. But aboard the Sentinel, the crew fought their own battle against quantum exposure. The neural interface that had given them such perfect control now threatened to overwhelm their consciousness with too many possibilities. Core stability critical, Dr. Zhang warned. The quantum feedback is affecting our systems. We need to shut down the neural interface before. His warning cut off as reality itself seemed to blur around the ship. The Sentinel, its systems evolved beyond their original design by exposure to quantum chaos, began to phase between states faster than even its crew could track. In the command chair, Captain Patel made one final effort to control their destiny, even as quantum possibilities threatened to tear apart the very fabric of space around them. The battle for Earth would be won, but the price of victory remained to be seen. The space around Earth had become a quantum storm of shattered crystalline ships and fractured reality. The Sentinel hung in the midst of it all, its hull shifting through countless probability states as the crew fought to maintain control. The neural interface that had given them such incredible power now threatened to merge them permanently with quantum uncertainty. Core containment failing, Dr. Zhang's voice echoed through multiple quantum states simultaneously. The probability matrices are cascading. We're losing the ability to maintain a single timeline. Captain Patel could see it through the quantum-enhanced sensors. Their victory over the Crixians had come at a terrible price. The ship's exposure to quantum chaos had pushed it beyond the boundaries of conventional physics. Each crew member existed in multiple states at once, their consciousness spread across countless possibilities. Dr. Aisha, Patel called, her voice resonating across probability space. Can we stabilize the neural interface? Not conventionally, Aisha responded, her form flickering between quantum states. But Captain, I'm seeing something in the probability patterns. The quantum chaos isn't just destroying, it's creating something new. Lieutenant Chen, his consciousness now attuned to quantum probability, saw it too. The ship isn't just changing, it's evolving. The quantum fold drive has created a new kind of space around us, a space where probability and reality merge. The remaining Crixian ships, those that hadn't been destroyed or quantum scattered, watched in terror as the Sentinel began to transform. The human vessel no longer appeared as a conventional ship, but as a nexus of quantum possibility, a demonstration of what happened when humanity pushed beyond the boundaries of known physics. We can't go back, Dr. Zhang realized. Analyzing the quantum readings, the exposure has changed us, changed the ship. We exist in quantum superposition now. But maybe that's not a bad thing. Captain Patel understood. Through the neural interface, she could feel the change in her crew, in herself. They were becoming something more than human, more than mere manipulators of quantum probability. They were becoming masters of it. All hands, she broadcast through quantum space itself. Prepare for final quantum integration. We're not fighting the change anymore. We're embracing it. The Sentinel systems, evolved beyond their original design, began to pulse with new energy. The quantum fold drive, no longer merely a propulsion system, became a lens through which the crew could view and manipulate all of reality. The remaining Crixian ships attempted to retreat, their crystalline technology useless against what humanity had become. But before they could flee, Captain Patel made one final decision. Lieutenant O'Connor, prepare a quantum message. Let's show them why humanity was never meant to be conquered. The message that broadcast from the Sentinel wasn't just communication. It was pure quantum information, carrying with it the understanding of what humanity had achieved. The Crixians saw not just their defeat, but the birth of something their rigid, crystalline minds could barely comprehend. The effect was immediate. The surviving Crixian ships surrendered, their commanders forced to acknowledge that humanity had transcended conventional warfare. Through quantum space, the Sentinel received their formal surrender, not just to Earth, but to the new paradigm humanity had created. In the aftermath, as the quantum storm began to settle, the true scope of what had happened became clear. The Sentinel and its crew had become something unprecedented, guardians of a new understanding of reality itself. The ship existed in a state of quantum flux, able to move not just through space, but through probability itself. Dr. Zhang's voice, now tinged with quantum harmonics, summarized their transformation. We set out to save Earth, but we've done more than that. We've opened a door that can never be closed. Humanity isn't just ready for the quantum age. We're going to define it. Commander Santos' quantum-enhanced transmission reached them from Earth. The Crixian Empire is broadcasting across all known space. They're acknowledging Earth not just as unconquered, but as a power that has mastered quantum reality itself. Humanity's place in the galaxy is secured. But Captain Patel and her crew knew this was just the beginning. The Sentinel had become more than a ship. It was humanity's first step into a larger universe. Through the quantum-enhanced neural interface, they could sense the possibilities stretching out before them, infinite and bright. "Take us home," Paddle ordered, though home had taken on a new meaning for beings who existed partially in quantum space. The Sentinel moved through reality itself, its hull shifting with quantum grace as it returned to Earth. They had saved their world, but more importantly, they had evolved beyond what anyone thought possible. The crew of the Sentinel had proven that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in its weapons or technology, but in its ability to adapt, to transform, to become something greater than itself. As Earth came into view, beautiful and blue against the quantum-shifted space around them, Captain Patel addressed her crew one final time. "We set out to defend humanity. Instead, we've given humanity its future. The quantum age begins now, and we will be its guardians."